Hi, welcome back to the channel. I got something new and interesting to look at today, so let's get into it. And if you care, give it a like and a comment, maybe subscribe. Let's go. All right, check this out. This is a 2021 series dollar note, and I just wanted to take a look at this first, get your mind in the right mode before we move on to the more exciting stuff, right? Yeah, these are not too interesting, right? You probably got some in your wallet, maybe stuck in the cushions of the couch or something. But anyway, let's talk about it. Let me grab a pointing device. All right, so we notice there's a lot of numbers and things on here, right? And these all mean something, right? We're familiar with the serial numbers, right? They should match. If they don't, that's something weird, and you should probably hold on to that bill. It might be worth some money. So this number here, for example, indicates what Federal Reserve Bank it was printed for. And so Bank 4, there's a list. You can go find it. I don't have it for you. I'll see if I can find it. But anyway, so Bank 4, and then this matches, right? On coins, if you saw a D, you would think, oh, that was minted, that coin was minted at the Denver Mint, right? Well, bills aren't minted, they're printed, right? So mints make coins, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing makes bills, or notes as they're called. So ABCD, right? ABCD. D, I think, is Ohio or something. It's in the list. So this is number 4, A, B, C, D, right? Those two should kind of match, right? A 1 should be an A, a 2 should be a B, and so on. So down over here, right here, we see an FW. There are two places that notes get printed, Washington, D.C. and Fort Worth, Texas. So FW, this was printed in Fort Worth. We looked at another bill. This one also says Fort Worth. See if I have one that's not Fort Worth. Wow, these are all printed in Fort Worth. What about this one? Ah, that one is not printed in Fort Worth. And so, now here's an example. 3 is a C. A, B, C, 3. That one's a 3 and a C, 2 and a B. There we go. Okay. So anyway, moving right along. This is the Federal Reserve seal, right? And it's green. Almost all of our bills nowadays are printed in green, but they weren't always that way, right? You will find some odd ones, but it's pretty rare. So let's take a look at a slightly older bill. Here's a good example. So this one, it's got a blue seal, right? We can see here, this is a silver certificate. If we looked at today's version, right, it doesn't say silver certificate, it says Federal Reserve note. It doesn't say bill, it says note. Silver certificates have blue seals. And so this one's been around a while, right? This is a 1957 series bill. Doesn't mean it was printed in 1957. That means this series of bills was introduced in 57. I don't know the exact years, but this might have been printed 57, 58, 59, who knows. We notice here there's a star that we don't see on this serial number. The star note, as this is sometimes referred to as, means that when this sheet of bills was printed, that it had this bill in this position and everything had a defect of some kind. So they took that one out, threw it away, brought this one in its place. And so that's what the star means. You don't see those a lot, but they happen. Okay, so let's take a look at the back of this bill, right? Like I said, it's pretty dirty. Looks very similar, right? Not a lot of difference other than the dirt. So from 57 to 2000 and what was this bill? 2021, not a lot has changed, right? So remember, These are not made out of paper, even though they tear almost kind of like paper, right? They're made out of 25% linen and 75% cotton. So they wash better than a paper bill would, right? And they last longer, so they don't have to print them as often. So that's a good thing. So as I said before, Bureau of Engraving and Printing, which I visited the one in Washington, D.C., kind of a fun little tour if you get the opportunity, and you get to go through their gift shop afterwards. That's kind of fun. I like collecting money and learning about money, so that's interesting to me. Let's take a look at a different bill here. This one, right? This is a 1928 F. It's in pretty good shape, right? It's got some wrinkles and creases, and it's a little dirty, but not too bad. So it's got some differences, right, between this one and this one, but it's got a red seal. So that has a different meaning as to what it was for. And you can find out information about these at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing website and other government websites, or, you know, you gotta watch what you learn from random Google kind of locations, right? But the back, you know, it's a typical back that you're used to seeing. Now let's take a look at one that maybe you haven't seen in circulation before. And if you have, I would be kind of shocked. So there's current bill for reference. And this is a 1928A series bill. Notice how it has the 1, right, in the background, but it's much larger here. And they moved this seal over to here, and it doesn't have the Reserve Bank printing, right? $1 silver. This just says $1. It's funny how they use note. It's a bank note, it's a reserve note, but it's a dollar. It's both. So whenever they print these, right, they'll go through a series of numbers, and then they'll change a letter and go through a series of numbers and change a letter. I put the series up here as well. I think they printed this bill from like 28 until 35, I think. So the front is printed in a black ink, right? All of them printed in black inks. And the back, right, printed in green. Oh, this was the first time that they used this size of bill, right? The one we've been using for many, many years. The one before this was slightly larger. And I'll put a picture of that up. As you can see, the other bill was slightly larger, but imagine trying to fit all that in your wallet. It's just not going to work, probably. But if we look at the reverse, right? This is the obverse, this is the reverse. Things get a little more interesting. Still printed in green, slightly different, you know, color of green, but it's a very different design, right? Tell me that doesn't look like Monopoly money. Copyright Hasbro. United States of America, $1, $1, right? Nowhere does it say on the back anyway, "In God We Trust." Does it say that on the front? Here, nowhere do we see "In God We Trust." I don't know when that disappeared. Was it on the front of this one? Let's see. The certificate has been deposited in the treasury of, payable to the bearer on demand, $1 silver. No, it doesn't say that. That's interesting. So yeah, I think that's very interesting how odd, how different the back is from our current day stuff. So as I mentioned earlier, right, this one's been in circulation. It's been, you know, passed around a bit. Who knows when it was printed? Could have been printed 1 year ago, right? It was just adopted in that year. So on, let's go back to the front of this one. We notice it says series of 1928A. So the original design was 1928, and then it changes to A, to B, to C, to D, whatever. Anytime they change the design itself, layout or whatever, or when a new Secretary of the Treasury comes into office or whatever, and a new signature has to be added, then it can become an A for that reason as well. So this one is uncirculated. Doesn't have any creases, bends, wrinkles, dirt, smudges. That's why I keep it in this plastic. You can probably tell it's in plastic, right? Yeah, so don't want to handle it, get your finger oils on it or any of that, right? So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and because you might not get to see those very often. You're not going to get one in change at the local store, I imagine. What affects the value of this, right? This is barely worth $1, right? Who knows nowadays? This one, because it's uncirculated, little extra value for that reason. Sometimes, I said the ones with the star notes, replaced an error note. Every once in a while, an error note will get out into circulation, and they vary in kinds of errors from, it's like the front of a $1 bill, but the back of a $5 bill, or it's upside down or something like that. If you find one of those, keep it. Could be worth a lot of money. The serial numbers, if it were all 6s, hold on to that one. If it had just 2 serial numbers, like 55655556 or something, hold on to that one. That'll be worth some money. Uncirculated version, older version, whatever, even more money. This one, current estimates that I find say it's worth about $85 to $100, depending upon who you're looking to sell it to. So some back in the day, right? I'm an older guy, so I've heard a lot of older people talking about stuff, and they'll refer to these as greenbacks. Could I get a greenback from you? Whatever. Well, greenback money was printed in 1860s or 50s, right? And they called them greenbacks. They had a very different kind of idea behind them. And they had very green backgrounds, backsides or whatever. And they were usually not printed by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. That didn't start until like 1862 or something like that. But they were honestly referred to as greenbacks, and I won't go into the whole story behind that, but if you hear somebody say that, they're probably 80 years old. But anyway, some people call them greenbacks. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing gets its paper, right? It's called paper. We think of paper, it's the stuff made from pulps of trees, right? None of this has tree in it. It's made from linen, which is from the flax plant, and cotton, right? With a few, they call them security threads thrown in. It's hard to see them. I'll see if I can get a close-up of that for you. But there's one company in the United States that's been producing the paper for printing, and they've been doing it since 1862 or something. It's called the Crane Currency Company. They're based in Dalton, Massachusetts, and they began making paper in 1801. So they've been around a while, but they've been making the paper for the U.S. government printing purposes. I think it was 1879 when they started making the paper, and yeah. So I thought you might enjoy that and find some of that interesting. And in the future, I have some other interesting bills. You saw the $5 bill. Oh, here's another. Oh, no, not that one. Yeah, here's the $5 bill that we were talking about earlier. These are both 1928. This is an F series of the $5 bill. This is the A series, right? So the F, even though it's the same year, has a different signature on it, right? That's maybe why F, right? F is this F over here, not that F. They happen to match, but they don't have to. Right here, it's an A and an E, right? So that tells us where on the big sheet, when they printed it, because they're printed in, back in the day, nowadays it's changed, but it was 4 columns with 8 bills. It was like in one quadrant. There was 4 quadrants of the big sheet. And I have a $1 quarter sheet, uncut. So I'll put a picture of that up, and you can see where it has all the different locations for it. So you would have quadrant 1, so it'd have a 1, and then it would have A, B, C, D, E, let's see, 4, no, 8, A, B, C, D, E, F, A through F, A through F, A through, you know. And so you could tell where that bill was on that entire sheet. And so, yeah, I'll throw a picture of that up so you can see how that worked. And then the quarter sheet that I have that I bought while I was in Washington, D.C., I could take that, cut it up into pieces and sell, you know, use it. If you look now, it's like, you look at this bill, how it's cut, and it's like, oh, let's get this one out of the way for a second. You look at this one, and it's like, the edge, the border, it's pretty much equal, right? I'm not going to measure it to 1/1000th of an inch, but it's pretty equal. You look at this one, maybe in 1928, they weren't printing quite as well, because look at the border. Fatter on top and on this edge, almost nothing on this edge and this edge. But nobody's going to reject it, you know, for that reason. We notice here in this text that's kind of overlaid or whatever with the seal, looks a little different, right? We see on the current day, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Well, if we look at this one, we're going to see that I got to refer back to because you can't even read it, right? Even if I zoomed you in, it's going to be hard to read. I had to take a picture of it, then adjust the contrast and the brightness and the color and play around with it a while so I could actually see what it says, because it's just not very readable. So this one says, this certificate is receivable for all public dues, and so receivable may be reissued. That's what that says. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but for some reason that they put that on there. So anyway, 1928, $1 bill, uncirculated. I got lots and lots of different bills to share with you next time. So if you like this video, you know, give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, come back for some more content, and we'll see about next time. Thanks for watching.